You wake up. Your eyes are still closed. And before you've even rolled over, your hand is already reaching for your phone. You check the time. You check a notification. Maybe you don't even remember doing it. It feels automatic, like it's just what waking up means. But the real answer is far stranger. For most of human history, the first thing you did after opening your eyes had nothing to do with information. It had nothing to do with checking anything at all. It was about your own body and about the people breathing near you in the dark. Let's go back. Not 100 years. Not 1,000. Further. Your ancestors didn't wake up to an alarm. There was no sound that told them the day had officially begun. Instead, their bodies did something that yours still does, even now, even with a phone glowing 6 inches from your face. Their cortisol rose slowly in the final hour before dawn, cued almost entirely by light. Not blue light from a screen, real light. The kind that filters in gray and pale before the sun actually appears. This is called the cortisol awakening response, and it's still active in you today. Researchers have measured it for decades. It's one of the most consistent biological rhythms we have. Your body starts preparing to wake up before you're conscious enough to know it's happening. So the first thing your ancestors did wasn't an action. It was a slow biological shift, happening in the dark, minutes before their eyes even opened. Strange, right? The moment you think of as instant was actually built by your body over almost an hour. Now here's where it gets even stranger. Historian Roger Ekirch spent years digging through court records, diaries, and medical texts from pre-industrial Europe. What he found upended the assumption that humans have always slept in one continuous block through the night. Before artificial light reshaped how we sleep, many people slept in 2 segments. A first sleep, then an hour or 2 of quiet wakefulness in the middle of the night, then a second sleep until morning. During that middle window, people didn't panic about being awake. They didn't reach for anything. They lay in the dark, sometimes talked quietly with whoever was near them, sometimes prayed, sometimes just existed in stillness. Waking up, in other words, wasn't a single sharp moment. It was something that happened twice, sometimes more, spread across the whole night. So when your ancestors finally rose for the day, it wasn't the jarring transition you experience now. It was the last step in a rhythm that had already been unfolding for hours. And when they did rise, what did they actually do first? Not eat, not plan, not even speak, most of the time. They listened. Before agriculture, before walls, before locks, your ancestors' survival depended on one skill above almost everything else, reading the environment the second consciousness returned. Was the fire still going? Was breathing steady around them? Was there a sound that didn't belong? Neuroscientist and sleep researcher Jerome Siegel studied sleep patterns in 3 modern hunter-gatherer societies, the Hadza, the San, and the Tsimane, groups whose lifestyles closely resemble how humans lived for the vast majority of our history. His research found something that surprised a lot of sleep scientists. These groups didn't wake up groggy and disoriented the way industrialized humans often do. They woke up gradually, tracked with the natural rise of light and temperature, and their first minutes awake were spent almost entirely in quiet awareness of their surroundings before any real movement began. No scrolling, no checking, no urgency. Just a slow, sensory sweep of the world around them, run by instinct before the body did anything else. That instinct didn't disappear when we built houses and locked doors. It's still running in you. Every single morning, whether you notice it or not. That heavy, slightly foggy feeling right when you wake up, that's not a flaw in your biology. That's your ancestors' safety scanning system, still switched on, still doing its ancient job before your conscious mind fully arrives. Here's the twist most people never think about. You still do the listening. You still do the scanning. You just point it somewhere else now. Instead of listening for a predator or checking if the fire's still burning, you're checking notifications, messages, whatever happened while you were unconscious. Same ancient circuit. Different target entirely. Your ancestors scanned the environment for threats to survival. You scan a screen for threats to your social standing, your inbox, your sense of being missed or needed. It's the same reflex, running the same wiring, just fed a completely different kind of information. And there's a cost to that shift that your ancestors never had to deal with. Their scan ended in seconds. A quiet room, a familiar fire, steady breathing nearby, and their nervous system settled. The scan was finished, and the day could begin. Yours doesn't end that fast. A screen is never truly finished. There's always one more thing to check, one more update, one more thread that pulls your attention further from the moment your body just spent all night preparing for. So the ancient system that once told your ancestors, you are safe, the day can start, now tells you there is always more to check, and your nervous system never quite gets the signal to fully settle. Which raises a question worth sitting with. What would it feel like to let that first scan end the way it used to? To let your eyes open, listen to the room, feel the light, And let that be enough before reaching for anything else? Your ancestors didn't have a choice. Their environment gave their instinct a clear stopping point. Yours doesn't, unless you decide to give it one. Tonight, when you wake up tomorrow, your body will do exactly what it has done for hundreds of thousands of mornings before this one. It will scan first. It always has. The only real difference is what you hand it to scan.